to know you as I am falling on. I will call on you till the day you bring me home.
Hello and welcome to Worship Arts Clinic TV. My name is John Parrott and I am the Worship Arts Director of Discovery Church here in Orlando, Florida. And beside me today is my sidekick, Paulo Clayton. And we kind of go by nicknames Batman and Robin. I'll let you figure out who Batman is. But I call him the mechanic because this guy, he can play any instrument. He does all of our sequencing. He does our click tracks. He does our charting. Phenomenal singer, vocal parts, phenomenal worship leader, worship pastor. It goes on and on and on. So all that to say, you're going to see a lot of this guy because there's a lot of things that he can teach you and help you grow as a musician, as a singer, as a songwriter, as a mechanic, whatever you need to do. There's a lot that this guy can teach you. But today, Paulo, we're going to be looking at the acoustic guitar.
The acoustic guitar.
And the acoustic guitar in contemporary worship has become such a prominent instrument. It seems like everybody today, when they're leading music, is either from acoustic guitar or piano. But if you don't lead from an instrument, don't worry because our next week's show is going to be talking about leaders who do not lead from instruments, which I think is going to be a great segment for you to check out and watch. And I'm going to have another guest here with us talking about that. But today, the acoustic guitar.
The acoustic guitar.
Paulo, you've written down a couple notes, a couple things I've been looking at, and so acoustic, in a way, can play two parts. It can be obviously very string. It's a very string instrument. It can be very melodic, but also it can work as a percussive instrument. We do a lot of things with acoustic sets around here. It's stripping it back to just a couple acoustic guitars or a cajon, and a lot of times that is where we hear a lot more of the percussive nature of the acoustic guitar. But maybe can you give us a demonstration of the two different types, so more of a melodic, and then also what it would sound like being used more as a percussive instrument?
Yeah, and it's going to depend a lot on the songs that you do. Like, for example, the song Furious, very fast-paced, Furious by Jeremy Riddle, Bethel Church. That song is going to be a little bit quicker. So essentially what I'm doing there is kind of blending in with the drums. The acoustic guitar, a lot of the time, especially for those fast songs, tends to be this, like John said, kind of this hybrid instrument, both melodic but also percussive. It kind of ties those things together, really becomes part of that core rhythm section of the bass and the drums. Then you'd have a song like 10,000 Reasons by Matt Redman, which is a little bit more gentle, something. So it still has a driving movement, but there's a lot less of the kind of a sound, and that becomes more the focus of the actual strings resonating, establishing what the chord is, the key of the song, the feel of the song, etc.
So the percussive nature, are you listening and tuning in with a lot of what the rhythm section is doing?
Absolutely.
And kind of trying to match that and partner with what they're doing? Because obviously, if you're doing something that's percussive and it's contrary to what the rhythm section is doing, it can sound very befuddled. You can almost sound out of time in a way.
It will sound out of time.
And people start to turn you down in their monitor mix because they can't follow. So, start turn you down. So for you, as or anybody who plays acoustic guitar, when they're listening to a track, and they're learning the track, and kind of our rule of thumb, and we're introducing a new song to our team, is learn the CD.
Learn the CD.
That way, when you come to rehearsals, everyone has learned the same music, and then there's some liberty there for the worship leader to kind of do what they do, if they want to change it up a little bit. But learn the CD is our rule of thumb, and I would encourage you, for anything you're introducing new music-wise to your teams, learn the CD is a great rule of thumb. It gets everybody on the same page, no pun intended. But what are a couple things that, as an acoustic player, you would want to be listening for in learning a song, whether it's percussive or whether it's more melodic? What are some things that you should really try to dial in and tune into as you are trying to copy or duplicate what the recording artist has done?
It kind of comes back to those two things where it's melodic and rhythmic. You're listening specifically for the chord structure that is being played, and also you're listening, again, like you said, for that timing, how you're going to mesh with the drums. The acoustic guitar can kind of come off as like a percussion shaker when it's going alongside the drums. I want to play a clip real quick from Whom Shall I Fear by Chris Tomlin. This is the multitracks file. Multitracks.com is a website where you can get backing tracks for many of the songs that are done in church today. And a lot of the time you actually get the original tracks they recorded in the studio or during the live worship event. So this is Whom Shall I Fear, the Chris Tomlin song. This is actually a file that I got from multitracks.com. It's a great website that we're going to talk about in another video series, but real briefly, basically you can get backing tracks for so many of the songs that are done in current modern worship today. So what we have is we have the track without the lead vocal, so it's going to be just the backing tracks, a little bit of backup vocals, but we're going to hear the track right now with the acoustic guitar still in the mix. So we're going to hear that right now. So there's that context. The acoustic guitar was in there. You probably listening to it couldn't necessarily pick it out. So what's going to happen now is we're going to play that same track again, but with the acoustic guitar muted. So you can't hear that. So let's hear that right now. Now, if you're listening closely, there was definitely a little bit of a difference. You didn't have quite the same sizzle over the top end. You didn't have that same kind of sound kind of gliding over the top and helping drive the energy of the song forward. And that is one of the significant things that the acoustic guitar does in worship music, is it helps really drive everything forward.
So Paul, I think it would be great if you could show us just two different examples. So let's use the same song.
Sure.
And the first example, if you could maybe make it a little bit looser, what would be not really preferred for the song, in a way could sabotage the drive of the song. And the second time, would you play it more as the recording would be, or what you would do as a leader, or what we would request someone to do that would give it that percussive, moving down the tracks feel. So can you show us the two different ones?
Sure. So that first way, kind of laid back, easygoing, kind of a... So I'm playing the chords, but it's given a little bit of a swing. Some players tend to give their strumming a little bit of a swing instead of it being right on. It's kind of a little bit Western, I guess you could call it. Whereas with a lot of the worship music, it's very straight, and to help drive it, I'm going to give it more from my right hand. A lot of emphasis on those eighth notes and then those little 16th notes in between, just as little accents, little kind of ornaments to help drive it forward as well.
I think a great thing that helps too as well is when you're practicing this, do it without any other music and just play it and record yourself. And when you're playing it by yourself, does it feel like it's moving? Does it feel like the integrity of the song is still there? Playing it the style and the tempo which you'll be playing it that weekend. And that'll help you feel like if what you're doing is really supporting the song, or if it's in contrary to the song. So
also, along those lines, it's really good to practice with a metronome of some kind, because that'll help get your timing solid. There are tons, maybe not tons, but I know there's a good assortment of metronome apps for iOS, for Android, even for Windows Phone, where there are those options out there. You can practice with that. I recommend practicing with a metronome that also has the eighth note in there, not just the quarter notes. If possible, get 16th notes as well.
Well, I think that's all we got time for today. But you'll be seeing this guy a lot. Paul, thanks so much for talking to us about the acoustic guitar. Hopefully that helps you, gives you some ideas, some things to work on this next week or share with your team. We'll see you next Monday as we bring to you a new episode. I'm going to have a guest with us. Bye-bye.